well, for those who don't know me, it's Ben from My Cycling Coach, where we have now helped over 500 cyclists hit 3 watts per kilo and beyond with their fitness, health and riding. I make these videos as we've been now doing this for the past 10 to 15 years. The application of it, the study, the research, my own training, and those hundreds of cyclists that we've helped. If through making these videos, I can fast track you to your goals without having to take that time, then I've done my job through making these videos and this content. This week's topic then, what I really wanted to speak to you about is strength training for cyclists, certainly at this time of year, but also the benefits with this for longevity with your health. Now, cycling is that, it's a fantastic sport. Certainly, if you are somebody like myself who has had a previous injury, potentially an ankle injury, a knee injury, problems around your hips, or even in the past, maybe some back issues, that low impact nature of cycling makes it a fantastic way to obviously really keep a good level of fitness and exercise going without having to put too much impact on the body. But at the same time, there's actually now a lot of research coming out, both at recreational level, but also with pro cyclists, that they're showing not having any real sort of strength training or some impact going through the body off the bike is showing that it's having detrimental effects with long-term health. And this is more specifically around bone density, muscle fiber, tissue quality, joint health. And if you're somebody who, as I say, spends now the next 20 to 30 years just on the bike, then later in life, this can really have that detrimental effect. Is if your bones are a bit more brittle, you then start to struggle with aches and pains around specific joints, but also just general muscular function, day-to-day activities can then become a lot harder later in life. So today's video is really all about strength training, starting to just trying to incorporate some of it. And I'm not saying that you've now, like, by watching this video straight away, you've got to go and sign up for a gym membership and start, squatting and doing deadlifts with 100 kilos. Where you start on your strength training journey needs to be really relevant and specific to, one, your training history, two, your strength training history, and how much you have done over, maybe, if you have done some in the past, then how much you've potentially done over the past 3 to 6 months or even the past year. That will determine where you start with it. So really, even just starting with some basic, body weight strength exercises. Certainly if you're somebody who had never done any strength training before, or if you have now had a period of time off of doing any strength training and your exercise or training program up until this point in the year has really been, as I say, mainly on the bike, then start by just incorporating some really nice and easy bodyweight strength exercises. This might just be through, some squat patterns, some lunge patterns, some hinge patterns, a bit of core exercises in there, just to really gradually ease yourself back in, but also really just work on that technique and format body weight, which is really important as well if you've done a bit of strength training in the past, just to get that back. If you're somebody who hasn't really had any strength training in the past or hasn't done anything or certainly any coaching around this, and you're thinking, okay, do you know what? This is something I actually really want to try now alongside my cycling to benefit from all of those things that I've mentioned there, increasing bone density, muscle fiber tissue, joint health. But also, let's not forget the performance benefits that this is also going to have for you on the bike. If you can generally just improve your strength, your movement function, then that is also going to translate into performance gains on the bike. Because if you can produce more force, that means you're going to produce more power through the pedals. Your cycling posture is going to be better, and that will then translate into being able to sustain, higher power outputs on the bike, better climbing performance, also potentially better muscular endurance as well, just because, as I say, your muscle fiber tissue quality and your strength, underpinning strength, is there. So as I was just saying, if you're somebody who hasn't done any strength training in the past, and I would certainly recommend that you maybe go to a gym to begin with, or you just get some coaching with this, whether this be with a personal trainer or a strength and conditioning coach, just so they can talk you through some specific exercises, but more importantly, show you that correct exercise technique and form, which is absolutely crucial. And once you then get to that point, whether you have done some training in the past and you're just easing back in with a body weight, or you're just starting out, once you've done that for, let's say, 8 or maybe even 6 to 8 week period or 8 to 12 week period, you can then just start to gradually through that time increase maybe a little bit of load. So you may then start to just introduce using some TheraBands. You might start using some dumbbells, kettlebells, medicine balls. As I say, it doesn't mean, strength training. I think a lot of cyclists can get a bit scared with this in terms of it means that you've got to start going to the gym, 3-4 times a week and lifting really heavy weights. That really isn't the case. Just doing some body weight training, using the bands there, some kettlebells, just lightweight, really gradually bringing that in is going to make a massive difference One, as I say, just your general movement function. Certainly also if you're somebody who is quite has a sedentary job or you're at a desk all day, and again, the only form of real exercise that you're doing is through getting on the bike, then there's just not really any impact there, or any sort of, you're not placing the muscles under really sort of any load there. So that strength training is just going to be beneficial. Really, it may even be that you're struggling with a bit of aches and pains and niggles just because your body's not really getting that load through it. And what you can find when you start to perform some strength training, whether that be body weight or some load, but also you start to do a bit of stretching and mobility work, those aches and pains can disappear as your body's just really becoming more robust. For both, just in your day-to-day life, as I mentioned, which is that long-term longevity piece, but also the benefits with this with your cycling as well. Just on that as well, some running can also be beneficial. And I know just with that running, or walking there, it might be that you can't do any running because of previous injuries. But if you're somebody who maybe can do a little bit running, and again, I'm not saying that you need to start going to train to run a marathon. It might be that you just build yourself up over the winter. You incorporate just some 20-minute, half an hour runs. It might be a little 5K target as well. That natural impact that comes with running as well can be really beneficial in terms of, I'm not saying, again, you've got to go and start running 5 times a week, but just adding in maybe the odd run here and there through the winter. Again, just having a little bit of impact going through the joints there, and also through the bones. That's really going to help with that bone density, just because that impact nature of a bit of running there. So it might be something, if you can run, as I say, I know there's a lot of guys who follow us that you are doing cycling purely because you may have had, previous really bad knee injury or things there. And again, that's where I would recommend that you take up some coaching around that strength training as well. But if your lower joints are really quite healthy, you are really through cycling, you just got in. This is the thing that happens at the start of the cycling journey. We obviously just want to ride our bikes as much as we can, and any previous training that we may have done just completely stops, because any opportunity to exercise, you want to ride your bike. However, if you've done a little bit of running in the past and you can run, then I would say maybe just incorporating the odd run here and there can be really beneficial in terms of that strength side of things, but bone density, joint health as well. So something I just wanted to touch on today is I found this in my own training over the years, certainly, or in the early days, as I mentioned there, that when we really find that love for cycling, the passion for cycling, that's all we want to do. But please don't neglect that off-bike training side of things, as one, it's just so important for longevity with your health. But two, you will also really see some good performance gains with it on the bike, whether that be, as I say, just producing more power, your overall cycling posture on the bike, but also be able to produce more force for hill climbing, sustained efforts and things. Time trialists out there as well. If you can become stronger, you're going to be able to put out more power for those periods. So it can be really beneficial there as well. I hope you found that useful. If you have, please, drop a like on the video. If you're new to the channel, welcome. As I say, I make these videos to really, if I can fast track you to your goals without having to take or spend the 10, 15 years of research, coaching and everything that I've done there, then I've done my job through making these videos. And if you're new, then please subscribe to the channel. We're always talking about things around training, fueling, nutrition, event prep, and we're going to keep putting lots of content out, or as much as we can now, certainly through this winter months, to keep you on track and motivated with your training for a fantastic 2024 on the bike. Have a great rest of your day, and speak to you soon.